6 months. 6 months of silence. 6 months of a house that felt bigger, emptier, colder than ever before. Taehyung Jungkook had everything: power, wealth, control. But none of it mattered anymore, because the one person who once filled the silence with warmth was gone. He hadn't seen Taehyung since the day he left. Not a call, not a message, not even a trace. At first, Jungkook told himself it didn't matter, that Taehyung would come back. People like him always did, right? But days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and Taehyung never returned. He didn't say Taehyung's name anymore, but it lived in everything. In the empty chair at the dining table, in the untouched side of the bed, in the quiet that no longer felt peaceful, just suffocating. And yet, he never once tried to find him, not because he didn't care, but because pride and anger had convinced him that he was right, that Taehyung had betrayed him, that leaving him was justified. One evening, Jungkook returned home earlier than usual. The house was quiet, too quiet. As he walked past the hallway, voices stopped him. His mother and his sister Somin. "I told you it would work," Somin said with a small laugh. Jungkook froze. His mother sighed. "You went too far." "No, I did exactly what was needed," Somin replied. "That orphan was getting too comfortable. Do you really think someone like him could marry Jungkook without an agenda?" She laughed again. "I just helped speed things up." Jungkook's grip tightened. Something felt wrong. "I forged those documents perfectly," she continued proudly. Even Jungkook couldn't tell they were fake. Silence. "And those photos," she added with a smirk in her voice. "Edited, simple." Jungkook's heart stopped. "I just gave him a little push," she laughed softly. "He destroyed that marriage himself." The world shattered. Jungkook stepped forward. Slowly, dangerously. "What did you say?" The voices inside the room fell silent. So-min turned, her face draining of color. Jae Jungkook, his eyes, dark, deadly, unrecognizable. "Say it again." She stuttered. I was just." "You framed him?" The roar shook the entire house. His mother stepped in quickly. "Jungkook, calm down. Don't." His voice dropped, low, terrifying. He turned back to So-min. "You lied to me." She shook her head, panicking. "I did it for you. He didn't belong here." "Enough." Jungkook's chest rose and fell rapidly. His mind replayed everything. Every word, every accusation, every moment he doubted Taehyung. Taehyung's trembling voice. "I just wanted you." His tears, his silence, his broken eyes. And Jungkook didn't believe him. "You lied," Jungkook whispered. So-min stepped forward quickly. "I did it for you. That man was using you." "Shut up." Jungkook's eyes burned with something terrifying. Not anger. Guilt. "You," his voice shook. "You destroyed him." "No, Jungkook, listen." "And you believed them." She snapped suddenly, her own frustration spilling out. "You didn't even trust him enough to listen." That hit harder than anything, because it was true. Jungkook staggered back slightly. his chest tightening, his breathing uneven. No, but the truth wasn't done with him yet. There's more, one maid whispered nervously. Somin went pale. Don't. He was pregnant. The world stopped. Jungkook blinked. Once. Twice. What? I took him to the hospital that day, the woman continued softly. He lost conscious crying, alone. The doctors said the stress caused a miscarriage. Jungkook couldn't breathe. His voice cracked. No, that's not. But it was. No. Memories flooded back. Taehyung's pale face. His trembling hands. The way he said, I lost something. I. His knees nearly gave out. I killed my own child. And worse, he destroyed the person who loved him the most. The truth didn't set Jungkook free. It destroyed him. The moment he learned everything, every lie, every manipulation, every cruel word he had thrown at Taehyung, something inside him broke beyond repair. He searched that very night. Taehyung's old apartment. Empty. The landlord shrugged. He left weeks ago. Taehyung had disappeared. Completely. No calls. No messages. No trace. Jungkook searched everywhere. Hospitals. Old apartments. Shelters. Even the smallest places Taehyung once mentioned in passing. Nothing. It was like Taehyung had vanished from the world. Days turned into sleepless nights. Nights into endless searching. He stopped eating properly. Stopped going home. Because every corner of the home reminded him of Taehyung. The couch where he used to wait. The dining table where he ate alone. The quiet welcome back that Jungkook could never answer properly. And the worst, the memory he could never erase. Taehyung's trembling voice. I lost something you don't deserve to know about. His mother tried to speak to him. I only wanted what was best. Don't. Jungkook's voice was cold. You don't get to talk about him. His sister avoided him entirely. Namjoon, his close friend and PA, stayed. Silent. Supportive. But even he knew. Jungkook was breaking. Sir, you need to stop this, he said carefully one day. Jungkook didn't even look up. Find him. Because if he stopped searching, that would mean accepting that Taehyung was truly gone. And Jungkook couldn't survive that truth.
Jungkook was no longer the same man. He still wore suits, still ran his empire, still commanded respect, but his eyes were empty, ruthless in business, silent in life. People feared him even more now because this Jungkook had nothing left to lose. Sir, there's a proposal you should review. Jungkook didn't look up from his laptop. Send it to Namjoon. It's already been reviewed, the assistant replied carefully. They suggested you should personally take a look. That made Jungkook pause. Slowly, he closed the file in front of him. Why? The assistant stepped forward, placing a folder on the desk. This company has been rising rapidly over the past 2 years. The market is shifting, and this company is leading it. Namjoon, who was standing by the window, added quietly. They've outperformed competitors in half the time. Strategic expansions, flawless execution, no public exposure. Jungkook leaned back slightly. Now interested? Name? V Group. Silence. Jungkook's fingers tapped lightly against the table. Never heard of them before. That's the strange part, Namjoon said. They appeared out of nowhere and now major investors are chasing them. They've taken over three major sectors in less than 18 months, Namjoon continued. Investors are calling them the future of the industry. Jungkook's eyes darkened slightly. Impressive. Our board believes we should collaborate with them. Jungkook's eyes narrowed. We don't seek partnerships. I understand, sir, the assistant said carefully. But at this rate, if we don't align with them, they could become our biggest competitor. That was enough. Jungkook picked up the file. Inside, everything was flawless. Strategy, growth, cold, precise. For some reason, it felt strange. Jungkook had never needed anyone. People came to him, begged for deals, waited months for meetings, but this time, and they're willing to collaborate with us? Yes, but the assistant hesitated. They only agreed to a direct meeting, no intermediaries. Jungkook closed the file slowly, set it up, not because he was curious about the owner, but because no one ignored an opportunity like this. The entire company buzzed with anticipation. The owner is finally coming. No one has ever seen him. They say he's colder than Mr. John. Jungkook sat at the head of the long conference table, fingers slightly tapping against the surface, calm on the outside. But something inside him was restless. The door opened, footsteps echoed, and then that voice. Apologies for the delay. Jungkook froze. No, it couldn't be. Slowly, he looked up. Kim Taehyung stood there, not the Taehyung who used to wait for him with soft eyes and quiet smiles. This Taehyung was untouchable. Sharp suit, straight posture, eyes colder than winter. Power radiated from him. The entire room fell silent, but Jungkook, he couldn't hear anything because all he could see was the man he had lost. Jungkook stood up suddenly. The chair scraped loudly against the floor. Everyone looked at him, but he didn't care. Taehyung. The name slipped out like a broken prayer. Taehyung paused. Slowly, he turned his head. Their eyes met, and Jungkook felt it, that sharp, merciless truth. There was nothing left. No warmth, no love, no softness, just distance. Professional, cold, untouchable. Mr. Jeon. The words were calm, polite, strangers' words, and it hurt more than anger ever could. Jungkook's voice trembled slightly. It's really you. Taehyung didn't react, didn't step closer, didn't soften. Instead, he walked past him, sat down across the table, opened the file. I believe we're here for business. The room stayed silent, tense, confused. Executives exchanged glances because something was wrong, very wrong. Jungkook didn't sit. His eyes never left Taeyang, as if afraid he might disappear again. You disappeared. The words came out quietly, almost helplessly. Taehyung flipped a page, unbothered. Now, a small pause. I moved on. That sentence destroyed him. Jungkook finally sat down slowly, but his hands trembled under the table.